if you're engaged in the war in Gaza, why are you killing journalists? Why are you killing medics? Why are you killing UN workers? If you're engaged in the war with Hamas, why is it that Human Rights Watch just this past week put out a report? They
Why
tell
are you
people
bulldozing
where to
cemeteries?
flee. They say go to the safe zones. Human Rights Watch says when the people are directed, they're being shot at the road.
But are you seriously saying no? But hang on.
When they get
Let me respond.
When they get to the safe areas,
I understand. I've already made that point.
Israel drops 2,000-pound bombs.
I've made that very point.
Does that sound like a war?
No, I made it. Well,
or does that sound like a genocide?
Well,
does it sound like?
Well, it's interesting. Okay, let's get into that because it's an interesting part of the debate. It's horrendous that UN workers, journalists, children, women have all been killed. It's horrendous.
Targeted.
Well. Okay,
targeted.
They quibble with the word targeted. They say it's collateral damage as they've gone after terrorists.
When you shoot a child,
here's my question, Norman.
When you shoot
Norman,
a child
here's my
in
question.
the skull, that's not collateral damage.
Norman, can you tell me any war where innocent people have not been killed in large numbers?
I'm not talking about innocent people. This is not.
No, he's talking about Hamas terrorists.
This is not
collateral damage. Evil hoe.
This is not even indiscriminate killing. This is very discriminate killing. It's discriminately, indiscriminate bombing of the entire infrastructure.
If they wanted genocide, though, why don't they just kill everyone in Gaza?
There's a very simple answer.
Maybe you let me answer.
I'm going to come to that.
There's a very simple answer to that question, Piers, because even take, I know you're not allowed to say it, but since I know the topic very well, take the case of the Nazis. The Nazis needed the cover of a war in order to carry out the final solution. Now, Hitler had plans earlier on, but it required a certain amount of cover, propaganda, and all sorts of other devices in order to carry it out. Gaza is in the news. It's very hard.
Do you believe Israel had a right to defend itself after October the 7th?
Actually, if you want to hear my full answer, I'm not giving you a yes or no.
What's the short answer?
My answer.
He doesn't have short answers.
That's correct. Shut up. I don't have short answers. I've said it to you before. In my opinion, Israel, here it's not my opinion, I'll quote Giora Eiland, Israel, the former head of Israel's National Security Council. Israel created, I'm quoting him now in 2004, he said Gaza is, quote, a huge concentration camp. Israel created a huge concentration camp in Gaza. Israel imposed a medieval blockade on Gaza, which has been characterized as a crime against humanity. Israel periodically went into Gaza on its high-tech killing sprees, what it called operations. I would say Israel created, I think I'm quoting now, the British economist called Gaza a toxic dump. Israel created a situation where you have children. I understand. How old are your children?
From 31 down to 12. 13.
Okay, fine. Imagine if your child, you're a father, your child was born into what Giora Eiland called a concentration camp. Your child was left to languish in that concentration camp.
It sounds like you're working up a justification. October the 7th.
He's completely justifying October 7th. And maybe if you let somebody get a word in, I could explain where he's coming from.
Okay, allow me to finish.
I do need to bring Fleur in, though.
I need your psychoanalysis.
This is not, yes, you do.
But
You need a psychologist.
She does need to respond.
I love lunatics.
This is one-on-one.
You see how she's attacking his mental capacity? She's not attacking his conversation. She's not attacking his accusations and facts about the behavior of the Zionist criminals in Gaza. She doesn't have nothing. So she's attacking him personally. Oh, he needs a psychiatrist. He's mentally unfit. This guy is, his brain is a computer. I mean, he probably wrote more than 100 books already.
Well, she probably thinks you're a lunatic too,
okay,
to be fair.
fine. And by October 7th, as you recall, Gaza had disappeared from the international stage. All the talk was about the Abraham Accords, whether Saudi Arabia. So your child was destined to be born into, languishing, and die in a concentration camp. Israel created those conditions.
So was it justified?
So my view is Israel forfeited its right of self-defense
Okay,
based
interesting.
on its criminal
Okay.
abuse of the population of Gaza for 20 years.
Okay, but so just to extrapolate that, it was just.
I'm very clear. There's no need for extrapolation. Israel forfeited its right to
I was
self-defense.
about to ask, does that mean then that what happened was justified?
Yes.
I will stick by my formulation. Its
But,
right
the
to
military
self-defense
targets, yes.
by having.
But were Hamas justified by your logic?
Was Hamas just?
The whole idea is that even Norman here, there needs to be an international investigation to the lies that the Israeli or the Zionist entity said. When they first said there were 1,400 killed, then they said there was only 1,150. That's about 240 people. You know why they said that? Because these were burned people in cars. When the whole objective was let me tell you what the objective was on October 7th. The objective on October 7th was to kidnap Israeli citizens, which I don't agree with, and soldiers, which I agree with, and then trade them for Palestinian prisoners. This was the whole thing, the whole shtick. Then the army, the Israeli army collapsed, and the Palestinians took over 22 towns with guns. And they took over like 12 military bases or complexes. They just collapsed. That's why the United States, Russia, not Russia, the French, they sent troops and they sent 2 carriers because they thought that Israel was going to collapse. So what happened is that the army came, the Israeli Apache helicopters. They didn't want to figure out. They have something called the Hannibal Doctrine. The Hannibal Doctrine is directive by Israel is you kill Israeli citizen. The Israelis kill their own citizen and their own soldiers and not let them be taken captive. Now, the objective of Hamas was to take them captive and trade them for Palestinian prisoners languishing in Israeli prisons for 10 years, 20 years. That was the whole objective of October 7th. There was no burned babies, there's no ovens, there's no nothing. As a matter of fact, the people who were doing the burning were the Israeli military and the Apache helicopters and the Hellfire missiles that we give them free. That's the only thing that was going on.
If your children were in that situation, I suspect as a final resort, they might very well have done what happened.
So then, by his logic,
there we go.
There's 100 children in tunnels and dungeons in Gaza right now, taken, innocent people, not soldiers, taken hostage. If it was your child, then it justifies everything by his very logic.
Shooting children
by
in the
his
skull.
very logic,
because there are 100
somebody takes
children.
away your children
Let her
in
respond
the
now,
morning.
Norman.
You